Hi, I'm Stephen Isaacs. I'm the chairman and CEO of Aduro Biotech. Biotech is a very interesting area. I've been in it for about 40 years. My roots go back to UC Berkeley. I was an undergrad in the 70s in the biochemistry department and a graduate student in the chemistry department, and I've been running biotech companies for the past 40 years. So I've been asked to comment on the program that's going on here. I understand it's an online program where students can work part-time to obtain a master's degree in a very important area. And so I'm going to try and answer some questions for those students who might be interested in how this all relates to the biotechnology industry. So the first question for me I'm going to read to you, and it just says, is industry interested in graduates or new professionals with training in computational science, data science, management, and software engineering? So I would break that down into three parts. Computational science, data science, and software engineering all kind of go together. And then management is really sort of another animal, but it's really very important. So for a company like Aduro, we work in oncology, we work in autoimmune disease, we work in renal disease. Clearly the chemical, biochemical, the immunology areas are very, very important to what we do. And this new rising interest in big data, where you do clinical trials, you collect samples from people, you get biopsies, tissue samples, you get blood samples, plasma, and so on. And they have to be analyzed for a very large number of potential biomarkers, proteins, microRNAs, and so on and so forth. So the ability to do computational science in this area, data science, and manage these big databases is clearly very, very important, and software engineering as well. So the second question that I've been asked to address is, what are the skills that are most valuable for a new professional in your field? And so, you know, in biotechnology, you do a lot of different things. It stretches from basic discovery in biology, in chemistry, and immunology to the ancillary fields, regulatory, quality, all these manufacturing, all these other things that you have to do. And then, of course, there's the entire specialty field of fundraising to make this all happen. But in terms of what's valuable, it's very valuable to understand the basic science. You know, a really good foundation, if you like chemistry, if you like biology, if you like biophysics, that sort of thing is very, very important to have. And then in particular for this Master Molecular Science and Software Engineering degree, if you can hybridize that with the ability to manipulate the data, to do some degree of programming, that can be very, very important. Programming skills are highly helpful, and with the emergence of, you know, some of the more advanced ideas in artificial intelligence and that sort of thing, it's very important. And the combination of the scientific understanding and skills with the computational skills really does create a unique opportunity, especially in the job market in biotech. Okay, so question 3 is, how much more attractive would a candidate with a degree in molecular science and software engineering be in your field? So I can just tell you a little anecdote. Aduro, you know, we have 5 or 6 different clinical trials with multiple samples that I just mentioned, the biopsies, tissue samples, blood samples, and so on and so forth. So we do a lot of very sophisticated molecular analysis of these samples. And then it goes over to the computational people, you know, to put that all in their programs and try and make sense out of what's going on, to give hints, basically, because biology is so complicated, of what's going on and how we might modify our approach. So people, again, with the cross skill sets, it's a very, very valuable place to be. So you understand the basic science, and then you know how to manipulate the big data. You know, people or you yourself have computational skills. Again, I would call that a rare bird. And we have a requisition out that we've had out for about 18 months trying to find this is, in this case, a PhD level bioinformatician, and these people are very difficult to find, and it's a very highly desirable, evolving field that's getting a whole lot of traction and will be definitely part of the biotech scenery going forward. Okay, so the fourth question is, what skills are missing from current computer, physical, chemical science graduates or new professionals in your field? So, you go to college, you're interested in science, so you study chemistry, or you study biology, or you study physics, or genetics, or immunology. And those are all very interesting and great fields. I did it myself. I was in biochemistry as an undergrad and chemistry as a graduate student. But they're sort of silos in a sense. If you're an organic chemist, you come out and you may try and get a job in the pharmaceutical industry, in the old days in the pesticide industry, and that sort of thing. Or you may go into computer engineering or computer programming, and you can go to electrical engineering and computer science and get a degree in that field, and you can become a real expert, sort of independent of what the elements of the data that you're looking at. You know how to put it in your machine and come out the other end with patterns that you can recognize, whether it's biotech or something else that you're trying to analyze. But today, what we find is that it's rare to have the individual who really understands both of those pieces. It's kind of like maybe being a biologist and a chemist at the same time, which is how I've always run my companies, with those type of people. But today, having this computer skill and being able to understand big data and do the data manipulation and really start probing deeply into the biology, which is enormously complex, with a foundation of the scientific understanding of the chemistry, biology, immunology, genetics, and so on, creates a real unique opportunity. And I think these people, again, are they're hard to find today. They'll probably be easier to find tomorrow. I think you get a lot of advanced degrees, people with PhDs doing this sort of thing, which are very, very sought after. And I think at the master's level, just like in other areas, this will become a highly desirable type of degree to have to help in this whole endeavor in biotechnology.